Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment of the weekend show. The topic of discussion today is security during the festive season. The festive season is usually characterized by increased criminal activities. As the Yulitude approaches, there seems to be an upsurge in the spate of kidnapping in many parts of the country. On today's program, we talk to security experts who have attributed this to the desperation of criminally minded Nigerians. Today, joining us on the program, we have
with us Bishop Jonathan, former U.S. Captain and Chairman, CEO, CB's Security Services Consultant. Welcome to the Weekend Show.
Thank you, Johnson.
We also have with us Sunday Attah, who is a Public Affairs and Security Analyst. Welcome to the Weekend Show.
Thank you very much.
Let me start with you, Captain Johnson. You've been on this show several times, and you've also given us a little tidbits of how to secure ourselves, as we go about our daily activities. Now that it's the Christmas season, a lot of people are coming back into the country, and there are a lot of activities in different parts of the nation. What are some steps that Nigerians can take in better protecting themselves?
Okay, let me start by saying that there's no one-size-fits-all hat when it comes to criminal activities in a country as large as Nigeria. The advice I will give depends on which part of the country you're traveling to, because different regions have their peculiar security challenges. If you intend to travel to the northeast, it's obvious that terrorism is going to be the number one crime or criminal activity in that area. So you should know and study what part of the country that you're traveling to, and try to understand the type of criminal activities that are prevalent in those areas. Of course, if you're going to the northeast, you should try as much as you can to avoid places of mass gathering, because one of the tactics that terrorists adopt is try to use minimum resources to achieve as much casualty as possible. So if there are places that are mass gathering, of course those areas will be the topmost target priority. So I would say avoid such places. If you're going to travel, make sure you travel during the day. Try to plan your travel route in advance, and listen to local news for breaking events. And should there be any breaking events, try to adjust your travel route, and don't be very predictable. Now, if you're traveling to the south, of course there are issues of okay, let me stay with the northwest. If you're traveling to the northwest, there is issue of banditry, kidnapping, so in those areas you should equally be cautious. Try to equally plan your travel in advance, and try to equally monitor your route and listen to news for breaking events. The same thing will happen if you're traveling to the south. In the south, you have issues of kidnapping as well as armed robbery and stuff like that. So similar advice that you give to someone who is traveling in the northwest, you will equally give to someone who is traveling in the south, to be cautious. Travel mostly during the day. If you're going to drive, ensure that you don't have your tank is at the minimum half tank, so that you don't have to, your vehicle does not stop in the middle of nowhere. So these are some of the advice I could give to someone who intends to travel in Nigeria at this particular time of the year.
Okay, thank you very much, Johnson. Sunday, I'm going to come to you, and I'll pull it. He has given us a national overview. I want to pull it closer to home. In the last couple of weeks in Abuja, we've seen cases of cars being broken into and people's goods and property goods being stolen out of their cars. We've heard about people being kidnapped, even in the Federal Capital Territory. But quite recently, there's been a ban on tricycles, what we call keke, and motorcycles, which for some people it was a source of employment. Do you feel there's a correlation between unemployment as a result of this ban and the increased security situation problems, challenges we are facing in some states currently?
Well, thank you very much. The security situation in Nigeria is not a news to an ordinary Nigeria anymore. I mean, we've had it years before now. we are still in it. Thanks to the security forces, they are trying their best to make sure we have a sane society. But the truth of the matter is, like I have always said in different platforms, that security is every man's business. It's not a business that you leave for just the security forces and all of that. Coming to the question you just asked, that the fact is that we are also in a hard time right now in Nigeria, all right? And we are not going to say because we are in a hard time in Nigeria, then we take into to crime. You know, we have to become more patriotic as Nigerians to committedly work hard to move this nation to where we have desired to see it. So, for me, I'm going to talk directly to the youth because this is my constituency.
To also answer the question, is there a correlation between what I spoke about, like the ban and the rise of unemployment, to the in recent times?
Sure. You see, the insurgency in the Northeast, like you know, when these guys were using the tricycle and the bike, they were having more successes because it's easy to move and it's easy to maneuver with. So, and secondly, when you come into Abuja, if you use this keke, like I use them sometimes, you realize that a lot of them, one, they don't understand, they can't communicate with you. And just a little argument on change, they could just pull up a dagger or pull up a weapon to hurt you. That is criminal activity already. So it is a welcome development in a way, you know, that the federal government or the FCT minister has decided to ban the use of keke in Abuja. But generally, would that solve the issue of security both in Nigeria or in Abuja? Given to the case, we have rampant everywhere, kidnapping, people burgling into your house and killings and or what have you.
We have a lot of questions from social media, and we also want to open up our phone lines. So for those of you watching who have questions for our security experts, do call the number 080-537-89021. That's 080-537-89021. We have Eze Chidebere Victor, who's asking, I do not want to return to my village, but my parents are making me do so. What are some security measures I can take to remain safe? I think, Captain Johnson, you already covered this. It depends on where exactly your village is, but it sounds like he's from the southeastern part of the country. Are there other specific things that he can do? I believe it's a he can do to ensure that he's safe when he returns to his village?
Okay. I'm from that part of the country as well, so I'm very familiar with some of the security issues in those areas, some of which, depending also in the part of the region where you are, there's issue of militancy, there's kidnapping, there can be armed robbery. So, but if he is traveling to the southeast, the same advice I give to someone who is traveling to the southwest is the same advice I'm going to give to him. Avoid being predictable. Make sure you carry proper identification on yourself at all times if you have to leave the house. If you're going to leave the house, leave during the day and come back before it's night. If you must travel at night, don't travel alone. Go with, that's what we call body system, you know, in the US military, where you go nowhere if you are not at least two in number. So make sure you adopt the body system method if you're going to travel at night, and you know, restrict yourself to areas, you know, that have been well established to be safer. There are some hoods, some neighborhoods that are more crime prone than the others. Avoid those areas where crimes are likely going to take place, and keep a low profile. As a matter of fact, that is the number one advice I'll give anybody. Don't make yourself to be known by everybody. Keep it on the low, and I'm sure you'll be safe.
Stay low key.
Stay low key.
What about you, Sunday?
Well, just like he has said, stay low key. you know,
But it's time for celebration. We're meant to.
yes,
This is the time people are calling it Dirty December. Not me, but this is December. We're meant to celebrate. It's like have this break and have fun. But everyone is saying stay in your houses, don't go out at night.
Not really.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
I'm not saying they shouldn't go out.
I
at
mean,
night.
I get what you're saying,
Uh-huh.
but the public assumption is we want to
You
be
see,
able
the
to
times have changed, so we too have to change with times. You can't go out in public and you bring out wad of dollars and you're spraying money everywhere.
understandable.
In that case, you're not keeping low profile. You make yourself a target. Even if you're going to assist someone or give somebody money, you can quietly and secretly put it in an envelope and hand over to the person where nobody is seeing you. Or you go to the church and you are announcing 1 million naira, 20 million, 30 billion, you're making yourself a target.
So
That's what
should
mean
we
by-
change, and Sunday, this is back to you, should we change our ways because of the current situation, or should law enforcement do better protecting lives of the citizenry?
You know, the current syndicate we have in the country as far as kidnapping right now is their philosophy right now is kidnap for ransom. And they don't just kidnap anybody on the street, anyhow people on the street, no. They must check your profile. In some cases, try to see where you are from, who you are, who are you, I mean, if
What
you
you
can
have.
bring out what they are looking for. So in the case, like he said, you go about throwing dollars, throwing hard currencies to probably show the people you are from Europe, you want to enjoy Christmas and probably intimidate your relatives, you are sure inviting them. And now coming to the security agencies, they need to sit and work hard. I have said it on several programs before that the punishment melted out to kidnappers that we have seen that they arrested. It's nothing but more like an encouragement to others to go into the business. I mean, you parade somebody, you make him feel so important, you know. I mean, it's just a child's play. They need to do better. There is not a deterrent right now that somebody will say, oh, so person has been dealt with in this line, and so therefore we're going to shun kidnapping and violence and crime.
Sorry,
you know.
we have a caller already. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
I'm Aduku Godwin calling from Yola.
Okay, what's your contribution to the conversation?
Hi, a key thing that we need to note at this festive period, particularly compared to a lot of these issues, but a few of them marriages are happening, churches are having bazaars and all that. There are situations that the security forces cannot really help. For instance, you have launchings, you have donations, and people are being called out to give 200,000 naira, 100,000 naira, and you see individuals cutting out. And what happens is that, in fact, people see you and they know, yes, you can raise 1 million naira, you can raise 500,000 naira. In the first place, the security threat. Because the security force cannot help you with that. If in a church, for instance, people say, fine, if you have 500,000 naira to donate, come out. And 10 people come out. Those in your neighborhood have really marked you out as somebody that.
Yes.
The Bible talks about giving and the other hand not knowing what you're doing. Why not just envelope whatever 500,000 you have and just give?
Most definitely. Thank you so much for your contribution. He was
There is
buttressing thank you so much. He was buttressing the point that you already made, you know, giving donations and making the whole world know that you're giving it, or the pastor or the imam calling you out to donate a certain amount, and you know the entire community already targeting you for that. But in this age of social media, where
How
not
do your
only
enemies know you're doing well if you're not showing it? And that's a problem.
To add to what you just said, in this age of social media, most of these guys, to an extent, they go into Facebook, create a pseudo
Exactly.
account,
Yeah,
and send you friend
yeah.
requests. They just want to,
And
figure
profile
you
you.
out, profile you on Facebook. And that's why recently I did an editing on my Facebook wall, and some of the things that I feel in those days, I think I did the Art of Use for brand and stuff. I have to pull out some stuff out of my Facebook so as to be safe, because right now you may just think it's only going to Kaduna that they will kidnap you. but you've not even realized that there's a young boy back there in your village that is being encouraged because there is no much that is done to kidnappers in Nigeria. I mean, at the time we're supposed to be talking about death sentence for kidnappers, some people are talking about death sentence for hate speech. I mean, this is just like misplacing priorities. The National Assembly should prioritize this matter, not the hate speech. Are you understanding now? So it is normal for people to go search you out on social media and even trace you through social media and get to you. And sometimes you think, oh, I can just do a donation in my church by transferring this stuff on the back. These guys are sophisticated. They could track you and even know what you have, but they can pull it out.
So you're saying don't even make a donation via transfer?
I mean, the pastors, like the caller just called, they have also caused a lot of trouble as far as, exposing people to security threat. I mean, I will suggest or subscribe to the fact that if you know that I have capacity to do, don't call me out publicly and not even mention my name. Why not message me? Why not come to my house, pay me a private visit and say the church has social project, and they want me to contribute. And I'm gladly going to be part of it. So don't call my name in public because the situation at the moment in this country, I want to be safe for my unborn kids.
Let me equally add this. I think this advice we are giving does not only go to those who are going to contribute. It's equally going to those pastors.
That's right.
Okay? But let me say this. Nobody can keep you safer than yourself. The most important thing is, because you asked question about security agencies, there's over 900,000 square kilometers of land area in this country, and you've not included our border sectors and stuff like that. So there is no way you're going to expect the security services to be in all these places at all times. So the only person who can keep you safe is you.
Yourself.
So you have to study your surroundings. Know your surroundings, master your surroundings. If you already know your pastor. If you know that your pastor knows you and he's going to call you out in a public gathering, especially at this time, approach him before that time and say, look, pastor, okay, please don't call me out. I will do whatever I can do privately.
That's right.
If somebody invites you to a wedding, tell them, look, please do not announce my name in the wedding. Whatever I can give, I'll give privately. In some cases, you don't even need to attend yourself. You can just send a representative to go there and represent you. And the representatives should not announce you or should keep it very low profile. Okay? If you're going to, because we're living two kinds of life now. There's the real world, and then there's this digital world.
Yeah.
Now, the digital world, as much as you're being very cautious in the real world, you should equally be cautious in your digital world. Don't leave too much digital footprint on your Facebook page or your
Twitter,
Instagram or your WhatsApp, because those two can pose, safety threats to your person. So you have to minimize, posting all these elaborate, bogus, kind of pictures. I was in the United Kingdom, I went to Saudi Arabia, I was at so and so places. What for?
Just to add to this, I used to have a friend who, whenever we drive and we're coming back, he'd be like, oh, pass this other road. Just like what you were saying, he was like, you shouldn't be so predictable that everybody knows at 5 p.m. you come. So today he passes this route, tomorrow he passes. And unconsciously, I tend to do that. And just like you said, social engineering is a big problem when it comes to hacking and stealing people's information and profiling people. It goes beyond you just saying, but if you're doing something now, you can post it a week later or a couple of days later. It doesn't have to be, I'm at AIT now, and you put it, I'm at AIT,
sure,
and all of that. So you do make a very valid point on both the physical and digital and not being so predictable.
Yes. Very lastly, gentlemen, we all know that there are several situations in this country as of today that haven't sat well with majority of Nigerians. For example, yesterday, the arrest of Shore in the court while the judge was sitting. So there have been a lot of call on social media for different types of protests across the country. What advice would you give to those who are actually going to go out and exercise their democratic right and lead peaceful process during this Eulitude season?
If I must advise, I will discourage anybody from embarking on such protests now. But if you must do that because you believe is your right to do so, make sure you do it in a peaceful manner and make sure you communicate to the police in advance. The police ought to know that you want to demonstrate. They want to know which route you want to follow. They want to know what time you want to do your demonstration. They want to know how many people you expect to be in that demonstration. It's not that you need permission from them to do that, but you have to tell them, because in as much as you want to protect, protest, your right, the police equally has a responsibility to ensure that advanced messages are given out to people who are not part of your protest. If it's going to be at the central area, the police can put out information. Look, there will be a peaceful protest in so and so place. Please take so and so route, so that you don't get stuck in the midst of these demonstrations. So those are the kind of advice, and police should know how many people are coming so that they can determine how many number of personnel that they will send to be able to protect you, who is the protester. Because if they don't make such preparation, your protest could be hijacked by other people, and by the time you know it, it would have gone from peaceful protest to a violent one, and you'll be held accountable.
Sunday?
Well, for me, I have never been in support of the Revolution Now protests, but even at that, I condemn in totality what happened yesterday in court by the operative of the Department of State Security. I mean, that is a slap on our face as a nation. That is a national embarrassment on us as a nation. I haven't said that, like I told the part of my colleague here, to say that every form of protest at the moment should be discouraged, because tensions are high. The youths are boiling. They want to act. They want to. You cannot fight with your mere hands, except you have someone giving you something from somewhere to come and face the security operatives. Like he said, make sure if you must go out, make sure you get proper clearance from the police, and notify them that you are going out. And in most cases, if it's not okay, they will tell you, no, the situation is not okay. Look at the situation that happened in the National Assembly the other time. They almost ran over our National Assembly members the other time during the Shite protest. So I am discouraging any protest at the moment. Write to the appropriate authorities. I have done a lot of writing. I should have gone to the street, but no. It's best at the moment. Do your writing. Soere has a lawyer. He's on the matter.
Thank you.
So I encourage you to stay away from this protest at the moment, and let's be safe and enjoy the youth time.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on today's program. Helping us to sign out, we have Promise Raquel. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Weekend Show NG on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Chef V was on the program earlier. He made us a very fantastic dish that Andy and I ended up eating before we could show it to you. So we will be hosting you at Newton's Restaurant and Bar, which is located at 27A Pope John Paul Street off Ghana Street in Maitama. So come and hang out with us right after today's program at Newton's Restaurant and Bar. And we're also taking all our crew from the Weekend Show there as well. So thank you so much, Raquel, for coming on today's program. Please help us sign out.
Nobody way fit love me like you do. I don't search, I know see a more. And nobody way fit touch me like you do, Jesus. I don't search, yeah, I know see a more.